That's Nick.
And that's Joseph, and today we're here to talk about A White, White Day, which became available on digital on demand April 17th, 2020, courtesy of Film Movement. It is the sophomore film by Icelandic director Hlynur Pálmason, and it premiered at the 2019 Critics Week Sidebar in Cannes, and it was one of my favorite films I saw at Cannes last year.
What was Hlynur's first film?
2017's Winters Brothers, which competed at Locarno, and lead actor Elliot Crosset Hove won Best Actor for that at that film festival.
Okay. Mm-hmm. A White, White Day is about a 60-something-year-old police chief.
I think he's just a police officer. Is he the chief?
I think he's in charge. No?
He's off duty.
Whatever, there are only like 2 cops at the station, so it doesn't matter if he's in charge, but he's off duty because he recently lost his wife in a car accident. Mm-hmm. So he's grieving, he's seeing a therapist, and during this process he finds video evidence that his wife was having a sexual affair with a gentleman he knows. Mm-hmm. So the film is sort of him coming to terms with that, ultimately confronting the man who she was having an affair with. Yeah. I like this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really liked the story. The visuals and the tone seem very familiar. I'm not familiar with a lot of, or any Icelandic filmmakers. But is this tone like kind of familiar? Very stark, very dry.
Yeah, it's kind of like a neo-noir as a character study.
It has a mood and it's effective.
There's a lot of great Icelandic films coming out and directors coming out of there for things like Sparrows and Rams and Woman at War, and I guess you probably haven't seen any of them, but
no.
Yeah, they actually there's a surprising amount of memorable films coming out of Iceland over the past decade.
Okay, well I was into it. Mm-hmm. So the opening scene is the wife driving her station wagon.
Well, we don't know it's her at the time.
We don't know it's her, but it's her driving her car like on a windy road in the mountains in the snow. And it goes on for a little bit too long. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately the car just kind of like careens off the road and down the embankment and she dies. I thought it was strangely humorous because the shot is for a long time. And then it just kind of was like, boop.
There's a lot in this film that's actually strangely humorous.
Yeah, so I thought the opening scene was very effective. But this, the main actor...
So Ingvar Sigurdsson, who is a very well-known Icelandic actor, but he's been in a lot of American films. I know you've seen Jar City. You don't remember it at all, I'm sure. And he was in Everest, to name a couple of his credits. But he's a very familiar face, been in a ton of stuff. He plays Ingimundur, who is kind of becomes unhinged as the film goes on. But he has a relationship with his granddaughter, Salka, which I find very entertaining throughout various portions of the film. Yeah.
So some of the quirkiness in this film kind of revolves around the daughter, because kind of early on, he takes her to her parents' house.
There's a party.
The girl's there, she gets sick, vomits, he brings her home, and then to help her go to bed, he tells her a story. But the story is actually quite disturbing. About like a man...
About his own father.
Who donated a kidney, and then
it's a grave robbing. He steals a
steals a kidney?
He steals the liver out of a corpse.
And the spirit of the corpse is haunting him. Mm-hmm. But it's like oddly disturbing to tell a kid, right, or any kid at any time, but right before they're trying to go to bed. There's another...
Well, and her response is kind of like, what's wrong with you? I'm sick.
Right, like, why would you tell me
Or she says goddamn lies. Yeah, I find her funny. Entertaining.
There's another scene where they're at the mom's house. There's another kid present, like a smaller toddler, and the granddaughter, and they're watching TV.
Oh, yes,
it's like a kids show with like some clown, but it's like violent and...
Oh, and I think that segment ends with him screaming at the audience like, "You're all gonna die. We're all gonna die."
That was funny. But yeah, it's just him kind of... He's unhinged, but not like... It's a very quiet sort of unraveling.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because we see the main character visit his therapist twice, or 3 times, and clearly is not open to talking about his feelings. He ultimately becomes violent with the therapist, who on their second visit has to do it remotely. So it's just the therapist on the computer screen, and that doesn't go well. But I think what was most moving is just, to me, the best scene is when the main guy, what's his name?
Ingimundur?
He confronts the man who is having the sexual affair with his deceased wife. He digs a grave for him, brings him to the grave at gunpoint, and basically wants to know about the affair. And I just thought that was such a good scene. It's so layered, because at first you're like, oh, my wife cheated on me, how terrible. But like the person she cheated on me with, like, why is this man involved? Like, it's not my job to keep your wife at home. But he confronts him. He wants to know the details of their relationship, how long they were having sex, where they were having sex, what did she want him to do, what did she say. And at one point, the other guy is like, what's wrong with you? Like, what is this doing for you? Right. Why do you need to know this? And I thought that was very powerful, because it seems that
Ingimundur?
He doesn't... It's like he doesn't understand his wife's needs. Right. Ultimately, that was the issue, because he seems so oblivious to why she would want this.
I think it became more apparent to me on a rewatch, because I think comparisons of this film to his first, Pálmason's first film, were that this is more of a straightforward film. And there were a lot of idiosyncrasies that I picked up on watching it this time. And I think it's about perspectives and perception, because did you notice how many sequences where there's that shot of kind of like either two windows or two frames divided by something. It's most often of those windows, and you kind of see a different view from each window. Okay. And it's the same setup as when he's talking to his therapist, and that's what it's all about. Like, people think they know things, but they each have a different perspective of something. And I didn't really initially care for the ending, and again the very final frames where Ingimundur is envisioning his wife dancing naked before him while Leonard Cohen's Memories is playing.
With like a loving glance on his, right, like a loving gaze in his eyes.
But like thinking about how, it does still feel unnecessary, but I was able to appreciate it more this time, because I think the film is all about, you can't control someone else, but you can control your memories of them. Yeah. And your feelings towards them. But to me, it's all about this discovery, this epiphany he has, that he didn't really know his wife as well as he thought he had.
But yeah, I agree. But I think a lot can be extracted, because yes, I agree he didn't know his wife as well as he thought he did. But I don't think he needed to know every facet of her to still love her.
Right. I think that's the point of the film too. Yes. The various conversations, he has a conversation with one of his friends, who's like, he asked if he'd ever cheated on his wife. Of course. Yeah. Like, of course she's not going to be the only one I'm going to fuck my whole life. And yes, that everybody's...
Even when he has the other guy at gunpoint in the grave, and he's saying like, how did you meet her? And the other guy says, well, we were kind of going through similar things. Mm-hmm. So, we became friendly. And he's like, you guys were friends? And he's like, yeah, we were fucking friends. Like, we interacted a lot. Mm-hmm. And the look on his face, like, he really didn't know that his wife needed more than what she was getting from him. Mm-hmm. I thought that was powerful. Yeah. It's a great story. So I would give this film 3.5 out of 5. The reason I wouldn't grade it higher is because I did think the ending seemed a little extraneous. It feels a little long, because after he lets the guy go, like, he doesn't kill the guy, then we see him kind of interacting with his granddaughter.
Well, there's a very violent sequence where that man, Olgeir, confronts him and stabs him, like slices his arm open.
And then the granddaughter witnesses it. She's made to be upset. Then they go for like a long walk in a tunnel. Mm-hmm. It just seemed more than I needed. It would have been nice to just have a clean break with him recognizing what the man told him at the gravesite, potential gravesite, and then that's the end. But you said upon a rewatch that the ending made more sense to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see. I think that song fits very well with the theme of the film, and I think that was an okay note to end on.
What would you give this film?
I'd give it 3.5 out of 5. I also want to shout out the director of photography, Maria van Hausswolff, who shot Pálmason's last film, as well as the score by Edmund Finnis, which I really liked, and it was his first composition. Oh, nice. And also the use of the track Angel Baby by Rosie and the Originals, which I discovered because of Lynn Ramsey's You Were Never Really Here, which is in the sequence where he's looking at the old footage, like the wife is singing that to Salka as a child.
Okay.
I really like that song. Anyway, yeah, I give it 3.5 out of 5.
Anything else?
No.
Bye.
Bye.